Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast, Friday Football Live Edition. Sean Higgs coming at you, patiently waiting. See if Marc Lawrence and Matt Fargo appear on the show today. Well, sometimes they come in a little late. It happens. A lot of things going on. It is a Football Friday, so sometimes people are a little late. It's all right. When there's other commitments come up, things happen. But everybody they usually pop in. Mark sometimes a little late. It's all right. It's okay. I'll be here for you talking some NFL and college football talk. Man, what are we in week? What is this? Week 7 coming up? Week 6 NFL? I don't even know what it is. No, week 6 next week. No, this is week 6. See, I'm already on next week's games who I should be betting. Now, if you haven't already, hit the like, share, subscribe, notification bell on so you know each and every day we come at you here. Football Friday Live is great. Saturday, Sunday, we got the Vegas Legends Edition. Feist, Chip Trimbus, sometimes Paul Bovey. It's a great show. Great free pick video for you. A lot of discussion, not just games, but just sports betting talk from the old timers there. Again, free picks daily. And if you want to go back and check out the videos, we have a prop show for Thursday night. NFL, we have a separate show for the Thursday night game. College football, we covered Indiana and Oregon. Covered the Red River rivalry yesterday with Alex Smart and Doug Upstone. We did Kansas City and Detroit. I'm pretty sure that was Matt Fargo with me. Maybe it was Biller. I don't know. It was so far away. Listen, you just go and look. Scroll down the video section. We got plenty of free pick videos up on there. All right, gamblersworld.net is where to go for all of our top plays, best bets, and premium action. I'm having a pretty good year there. I was gonna talk about some Philly stuff, and then the boss was like, "Hey, by the way, instead of talking about Philly, why don't you just say how you're having a great season overall?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I think making fun of Philly is better, but there you go. Number one, yours truly, up over 16 dimes. That's based on a $200 play, by the way. So there is that. Having a nice season overall. Really, baseball, college football, college hoops last year, great seasons overall in them. So, but let's recap some MLB from yesterday, and just in general. So the Yanks are out. People are upset. I watched the A-Rod thing. He's talking about the poorly constructed lineup. And people are like, what do you mean they won 94 games? Yeah, okay, you could beat bad teams. You could beat bad teams when you outslug bad pitching. You don't face bad pitching in the playoffs. And that's been the Yanks' Achilles heel for years now. Get some contact freaking hitters. You've heard me say multiple times on the little videos I'm talking about WAR and all this spin rate on balls being hit miles per hour. Who the hell cares? Can you get on base? You need to be on base, score a run. Can't win if you can't score. Quote of the year from my guy Scoop back in 96. You can't win if you can't score. Get on base. I think, all right, move on from the Yanks. I think Seattle's in trouble. I thought Seattle was going to beat the Tigers. I thought Cleveland was going to beat the Tigers when they're playing. I think we have a Tiger-Toronto ALCS. You got the scuba once, and even then, if Detroit could hit a lick, maybe you want to pull out a 3-2 or 4-3 game, whatever that was. He's got good. I know in a postseason game versus Cleveland, he had a bad outing. Scooble. The other games, he's been very good. 2-1 in 5 games with a 2 ERA and a .80 WHIP. This is the guy you want to face in an elimination game? Seattle. Would have been nice. Would have been nice to see Seattle and the Brewers in the World Series. But you know what? I don't think that's happening. Because I don't think the Brewers win tomorrow. I think if you can't put a team down when you have to, boy, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt, especially a team like Seattle or a team like the Brewers who kind of, I hate saying a smoke and mirror type team, but yeah, they won all the games. Now, I don't know, man. I think the Cubs win tomorrow. Imanga versus the Miz. I'm leaning Cubbies. And here we go. The Dodgers, World Series faves here, plus 130, taking care of the Philadelphia Phillies. You feel bad for the guy threw to the wrong base. But let's be honest, Phil. I mean, you're going to whine about that. Oh, no, he threw through. You didn't hit in game one. It took you to have an out in the bottom of the ninth of game two to start hitting. You didn't hit all series. That's why you're not moving on. You didn't hit all series. I don't want to hear it, Philly fans. You didn't hit all series. Dodgers odds-on favorite here. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, the Blue Jays got a problem bullpen. Mariners hitting. Brewers, who knows? I mean, at these prices coming across, I would maybe take a flyer on the Brew Crew there or the Tigers just based on the numbers. But I told you early on I had a Dodger one way back at 4-1 beginning of the year, and I took the Yanks at 7-1 just before the playoffs started. But yeah, Dodgers. Talking about the Dodgers and beating up on Philly, let's talk about the Eagles last night. Making Jackson Dart look like he's a Josh Allen. And Giant fan, I get it, you're happy. You beat the Eagles. Big win. 7-point underdogs. You dominated them. Eagles can't do nothing. Hurts doesn't look like a quarterback at all. But as good as he looked last night, can we flash back to Sunday where your quarterback and the team turned the ball over on 5 straight possessions? There's got to be a little middle there between the two before we get carried away here. All right, so slow down. Although the Eagles, as much as I'm like, man, they keep winning without winning. They're not winning the stats, and they just look like they're going through the motions. You better start getting your act together. That's not a good look. It makes me think more if that lightning delay in the opening game, you might have lost to the Cowboys that game, the way you've played this season. All right, let's move on tonight. So let me pull up the little screen here. We'll get to some comments if anybody's going to be on the YouTube channel. If you're watching on the X, wonderful. Tweet it out, share, come in, say hello. Not many sexy games here for college football during the week, right? We get starting on Tuesday, we got the Maxim back. We got whatever, Sunbelt or American. We got crazy games all week long, 7 days a week, right through Thanksgiving, probably after Thanksgiving. I'm sure there's Black Friday. We got loads of games. I don't even know. Count it up, somebody. Last I heard it was 47 straight days. You got a nice matchup here in North Texas to South Florida. 2 smaller schools looking to make a name for themselves, Colorado State, Fresno. This one sticks out for me, and I'll tell you why. Like the total was at 45.5. It went up to 48.5. Tick back down. I don't know why it would move 3 points based on Colorado State's non-existent offense, but I do kind of like the over on that one. And I guess the premier game tonight would be the Rutgers game, which is somehow moving to Washington here, up to 11.5. What am I missing here? Can someone explain? I got a team in Washington. You just played in Maryland. And I think I said last week to Marc Lawrence, we're talking about this game. If this was a noon game, I would have been really hyped to take Maryland there, right? That would have been a good Maryland spot. Early start time, Washington off Ohio State. Just not a good look. Not a good time. The whole whatever, kid and caboodle there. They had a rally back in this game to beat Maryland. And now you're facing Rutgers on a bye week. Okay, they're off a loss, Rutgers. Back-to-back Iowa and Minnesota. Games that they were in, they had leads in. But why is this line moving? What am I missing here? Washington, Maryland, short week back for a night game versus a team off a bye week. You're off the short week, rallying for a win on a short week. You had your win streak snapped the week before in a monster game versus Ohio State. And the game before that, you were in a rivalry game. And now you got Rutgers coming in. What are you pumped up about? We got to get them because they have better food trucks than us? Where's the motivation for Washington here? And it's up to 11.5. At respected, Pinnacle 11.5, 4-1-1s at 11. Those are sharper joints. There's a 12 at South Point right now. I might be going down in flames. I don't care. Here you go. Here's your first freebie one of the night here on the show. We're going Rutgers. And I'll recap. I'm going to recap what we have for the week, even though I want you to go watch the videos. I should be a meanie and tell you to go watch them, but I'm nice like that. We'll recap them at the end of the show. I'm going to call it 11.5 with Rutgers right now because that's what I see at a bunch of spots here. FanDuel's got 11.5. DK's got 10.5, but there's 11.5 pretty much across the board. Rutgers plus 11.5 here for you on a Friday night. And who else do we grab here? You want to grab one of these little smaller schools? I would look at the Cornell line, Big Red, only because it's come down 3 points. So someone who knows a lot more than me there has moved on that game. So Cornell, if you want to get – I'm not writing that one down. That's just for poops and giggles for the degenerate faction of the watchers who want to bet some small college football there tonight. For tomorrow, we do have some decent matchups here. And again, I'm just gonna start in college football. And I can't believe we have no comments yet today. What is going on here? Nobody's on the YouTube. Where's I got mine? That's all right. I'm used to talking. I do my little show. I can talk all day. We'll be all right. Obviously, the big game, or one of the bigger games, Alabama-Mizzou. 3 and a 51.5 here, right? You're thinking, and I know what everybody's thinking, you just take Missouri here, right? This is a team that people have jumped on. It's come down about 1.5 points here, this line. And I understand you want to take a team. Hey, we're on a bye week, and we have the Tide off their game. Vanderbilt, again, I had Vanderbilt last week. Terrible way to go down. I don't know. I'm going to tell you a little Alabama here. I will tell you to take Alabama. Why not make it a show pick? People like the bigger schools here. Alabama for me. I'm not buying the just take Missouri because we're off a bye week. And I'm not a big Alabama lover. I don't like the coach. I think they've got deeper problems than him. Just the whole whatever's going on. We've seen them lose games they should win and not play well. But honestly, the last 2 games showed me a little something between beating Georgia and then the Vanderbilt. Forget about the cover. Just winning that game. They outstatted them, yardage, all that other stuff. Probably should have covered anyway. And I was lucky to be hanging around with Vanderbilt. But Bama minus the 3, making a call here for you there. Scrolling down the timeline here. Again, my odds logic, we go by time. I wish it was rotation number, but they move all these things around. Old school rotation number guy like me. We're juggling it around. Let's there we go. Oh, look who's in the back here coming to say hello. There's he, man.
Knock, 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 knock.
What's going on, Mark? How are you?
How you doing? Great, Sean. How you doing?
All right. I was just going to roll into – I just talked about like the Bama-Mizzou game. And as much as I was interested in taking Missouri, it looks good, right? Oh, Missouri, bye week, this and that. I went with Alabama. And just what I've seen on the last 2 weeks, you beat Georgia, who I thought Georgia was going to just take care of business to get rid of a lot of frustration based on their history against Alabama. They got outplayed from start to finish. And then against Vandy, I was lucky. I thought I should have had a cover there. But looking at the numbers, and you're the numbers guy or stats, Bama totally outplayed them and should have covered that game anyway, besides busting one at the end. I'm going to take Bama just based on those last 2 games, and I'm not going to fall for her. I'm going to take a little home dog of 3. I mean,
so you think this could be a false trap is what you're saying?
Yes. I think, and I know some sharper guys I know and respect, they took Missouri at a different number, obviously, the open number, but even that wouldn't really interest me. Maybe a little bit more at 4.5 would say, okay, I could think about it. But the more I look at it, I'm like, you know what? If I go down with Bama minus 3, so be it. They're playing good football, and that's what it's about. You start getting, sometimes the bye weeks help. Other times you start playing well, you don't want to stop. You want to keep going. Let's keep this train, keep the ball rolling, right? We've seen that a lot.
Bama's getting into this precarious position where they lose this, they'll have 2 losses in the season. And they basically then have to go all the way through the Southeast Conference and win the championship game. Otherwise, face the ugliness of having 3 losses and possibly not making the college football playoff. So there's a lot of reasons for Alabama to come and play here. I happen to like the Missouri side of the football game. A couple of reasons that I'm with Missouri is number one, this is their 6th consecutive home game in a row. This is only the second team in my database since 1980 that started the season with 6 straight home games. The other guy that played in that 6th straight home game won by a monster margin in Game 6. That doesn't anything to do with this game. But what you've got here is humiliating revenge, 36-0 loss revenge for Elijah Drinkwitz, who's never been shut out in his career other than that game last year. Then you got a home dog in Missouri here that is a 5-0 dog. We talked about these before in the past. You start out 5-0, you come an underdog. They're really, really nice situational plays. I think obviously this is the game of the year for Missouri. It's a big, big win in their holster, if you will, in their leather belt. I think they're going to pull the upset here. I like Missouri in this game.
All right. Well, now I feel bad. I already gave out the Alabama. I'll cross it off because we're not making a pick here. I don't want to go. Especially, I like to more use picks here when we agree on stuff. So, you know what? But Bama's off the board here because I don't want to give out something and somebody else is on the other side. So that is, I did that before right as you were coming in. So I want to scratch that. I can't do that. We don't need conflicting reports here on picks. That is not a good look. But
it's a good idea.
We will. There's always going to be times we're going to disagree on some things. As much as it's nice when we agree, sometimes disagreeing is normal. So that's. I don't think we're always going to agree on the show here, folks. We're going to have different opinions, and I just want when we go out with a pick here as something as an official show pick, I want it to be, hey, we all like this game a lot. You should ride us because we're pretty good at what we do, kind of thing.
It's a unanimous pick. Yeah, exactly right. I get that.
All right, we're talking about teams with losses. Playoff implications. Let's talk about Texas and Oklahoma. Now a Oklahoma 1. This has gone from them +3 to -1. Obviously, probably quarterback information here. He's playing. He's not playing. He can't hand the ball off. Texas is a team to me, and you said it yourself here. They lose this one. Forget about the play. A 3-loss playoff team. I know they're an SEC team, but they still have bigger games too down the road. Oklahoma can lose this game and get their quarterback healthy and then go and say, you know what? All right, if we beat, I think they have Tennessee and Georgia or Bama and Georgia or Bama and Tennessee. They got some kind of combo coming up on the road where even if they lose this and one of those, they'd still be considered a playoff team because it's SEC losses, right? You lose to an SEC team, does it count? It's like if there's a tree fall in the woods. I want to take Texas here. I think people are just writing them off like, hey, Arch Manning stinks. This team is bad. I don't care. I got a backup quarterback playing. I don't care if I got an injured quarterback. Texas does not look like they should have been the number 1 team to start the year.
Well, I'm with you on Texas in this football game. I know it's big-time revenge for Oklahoma, but if Mateer does play for the Sooners, he had an injury where he was projected to be out 6 weeks to 2 months. And now he's back here 3 weeks later. So you have to figure that if he is back here this quick, this soon, he's not going to be 100%. He'll be serviceable in this football game, I think, at best. That's one side of the equation. The other side for me is the fact that Texas now has 3 losses on the season, or this would be their 3rd loss in the season here. They fall to 3-3. They were the preseason number 1 ranked team in the AP poll. And I will say this, that preseason number 1 ranked teams in the AP poll, when they're coming off a loss, they're 17-3 straight up and 13-7 to the spread. That's the role that Texas will dress up in this particular game. And then we've also got the old 5-0 Fat Cat against Oklahoma, sitting there 5-0, now a favorite in the football game. I'm with you. I'm on Texas in this contest.
Right, yeah, Texas, we did this one the other day, and it was a Texas play like – it just screams to take Texas. And also, total-wise, I wish we had our guy King Creel with us because I'd like to hear his 2 thoughts on this one. It's 44.5, 45. It's gone up a tad here. It was 43.5 the other day. I still got to like the under when you look at pass game. Again, the total going up and Oklahoma being favored now, I think leans to Mateer playing. All that being said, these past games that they've played, half of the games, Texas or Oklahoma hit this 43, 44 by themselves. So
Yes.
to see this as like this, the total number, just it goes to show you both. I mean, I think Oklahoma more defensive than offensive anyway of Venables. Texas has been defensive because the offense has not really been all that of this year. I like the under again here. Even at 44, I might whack it again.
I think you're going to see this game played at playoff-like intensity. Here's what you're going to see, Sean. You got two playoff caliber teams, to say the very least. It's very important for both football teams. And when you get games like this that involve games of this importance, defense usually wins out. The other side of the equation for Texas is they fell out of the top 25. Number one, to open the season, not even in it right now as they go into this particular football game. So I think you're going to find a strong defensive effort coming from Texas in this game as well.
We mentioned Texas top, preseason top 25, number one, whatever. Penn State and Clemson also should not be left out of teams that have poorly performed after being thought of as highly touted or very good teams to start the season. They were 3 of the top 5 teams.
Well, Penn State was number 2, so number 1 and number 2 are both on the sidelines, kicked out. In fact, we call them, they're sitting in the green room right now because they did receive eligible votes, just not enough to make the top 25. So they're sitting in the green room right now, both Penn State and Texas, which usually gives those football teams some added ammunition to come and want to play to re-enter that top 25.
Penn out of the top 25. And the crazy thing is, we've talked about this with the expanded playoffs. The reason why they expanded is for a team like Penn State to get in with their 3 losses when they lose to Ohio State and Michigan and now the Oregons of the world, or in this case, UCLA's. But you're going to have a hard time. It's mid-October. But you'd have a hard time convincing me. I'm sure there's a lot of other people. When playoff times comes around, how do you put a team in that's 19th in the polls or 22 ahead of XYZ? And the talking point will be, Mark, well, they did lose to Oregon. They lost to Ohio State. This team lost to Oklahoma. Like, they'll be making all types of excuses why the 3 lost teams out of the Big Ten and Big SEC should be getting a nod over, say, Georgia Tech or somebody who's got 1 loss out of the ACC or one of these Big 12 schools that, are going to cannibalize each other.
Yeah, that's going to be a main conversation, unquestionably. And it was something that I think college football was anticipating because of, one, the size of the 2 conferences between the Big Ten and the Southeast Conference being the top 2 Power 4 conferences in the country. I will say this, that if we do have a 3-loss team coming out of this conference, I will say that 1 or maybe even 2 of them might make the playoff this year, only if they are playing really good football down the stretch. Good enough to perhaps maybe make the conference playoff. If you have a 3-loss team makes the playoff and wins the playoff, you certainly aren't going to leave that team from either the SEC or the Big Ten at home if they won the conference championship. So, there's going to be a lot of that talk being bandied about right now. But I think right now, teams like Texas, Penn State, all they have to look forward to is what's right in front of them. They can only look at who's in front of them now and not what's going to happen 6 weeks down the road.
Ole Miss sitting in first place. Conference play 3-0. A&M, Alabama, 2-0s. And then here we go. It is October 10th, and you got teams that played 1 conference game in 6 weeks. And if we count week 0, we're talking 7 weeks of football. They played 1 conference game. What is that about?
That sounds like a Penn State schedule to me.
Missouri's 5-0. They played 1 conference game.
They played them all at home, too.
5-0, 1 conference game.
Yeah, they played them all at home, too, on top of it, Wow.
And then Kentucky's sitting at 0-3 in conference play already. And yet Missouri's played 1 game. Oklahoma, 1 game.
Well, that means most likely, I don't have my book in here in front of me, but that means that Missouri will probably face nothing but SEC teams going on out. Texas will probably get one of those Charleston Southern teams between now and the end of the season before that unfolds as well.
Yeah, a little cupcake somewhere there. Yeah, Texas again, they got 1 team themselves.
Yep.
Man, I hope we get some 4 losses here, man. I don't want to see these. We see a 4-loss team in there. It's going to be like, well, they lost to the top 4 teams in the SEC. They got to be in there.
Well, that's when they'll both expand the playoffs, Sean. When they start making cases for a 4-loss Alabama or a 4-loss Texas, And God forbid if one of them gets in, then they'll have to really wash their hands of that evil doing and expand these playoffs, maybe have perhaps 24 teams sooner than later.
Maybe one more college. You know, I'll let you choose a college one if you want to talk about one, and then we'll head into some NFL chat. Got one you want to share?
On the college football card?
Yeah.
I think it's a really, really rather attractive card here. And I'm a little bit surprised, just a titch surprised, that Arizona's dressing up as a home dog to Brigham Young this Saturday.
Yes.
You know, it's not it's like a restaurant review that the critic went in there and didn't give him a good review. They asked him how the food when he said, not bad. Well, Arizona's not bad. They're a really good football team, in fact. And they're going to be taking points from a 5-0 Fat Cat Brigham Young team. I like this side of this football game here to Arizona here. They're coming in here right now, 6-0 straight up, 5-0 to the spread after they put up 35 or more, which means that they'll likely repeat an effort like that in the next football game here. I think BYU gets exposed here in the desert in this game on Saturday.
I'm going to agree with you with Arizona. I got them plus 2.5, so I thought it was a spot for them. Again, BYU's got some nice wins, but I saw them give up 20-something points to Colorado and struggle up there. You gave them, 20-something at home to West Virginia last week, right? Was that the game versus West Virginia?
No
I think Arizona could definitely score more than 20-something points. That's a show pick. Arizona, we're going to call it's 1.5. I'm taking a plus 115 here. We're not – if they can't win this at a pick 'em basically at home, they got no right anyway. They'll make us look bad. So I'm going to make it a money line play for us here in the chat.
Okay. A little more bang for the buck. Right.
Yeah. Well, if it ends 24-23, I'll badmouth myself on Monday when we go over the records. But
then you get nipped. That's all that happens. That's nothing you can do.
All right, we got some people tuning in. If you're watching YouTube, hit the like. Although it's more X world, it's more Twitter world than the YouTube channel. But if you're on the YouTube, leave a comment and make sure you hit like, subscribe, notification bell on. So you know the Football Friday Live and all the other free pick shows 7 days a week here, and of course our top plays at gamblersworld.net. No better time than a 7-dayer because football is 7 days a week now, all the way through Thanksgiving. Guaranteed package. Show you a profit or we credit you back. Now, I guess we got to start Denver Jets just because it's the degenerate game. If you're a West Coast person waking up at 6 a.m. to bet this game, how do you feel about Denver and the Jets here? 7-point favorites in England. Jets winless. I want to take the Jets. I haven't pulled the trigger because I had the Jets in week 1. It was my $18 million bet in the Circa. Didn't get there, although they did cover the 3 for me. But that doesn't help in a Survivor. I followed that up a week later with them, thinking they could score some points versus Buffalo. No. I said, I'll go back to the well a third time in Tampa Bay. This team, so close, but yet so far in other games. Is the 6th time a charm for them here? Do they get a win? Do they get a cover even against Denver?
Well, let me ask you this, Sean. Are you going to give me a half point with the Jets and let me take 7.5 in this football game?
It's 7.5 at DK. Yes, you get 7.5.
Okay, well, then I'll take that. And with that, I'll follow that up with the fact that we saw what happened Thursday night when the New York Giants, as a 7.5-point dog, won the whole football game. And the reason I'm calling this out is in the database, NFL dogs at exactly 7.5 points have been terrific. They're 44-26 to the spread on the blind, not knowing anything else. That's the role the Jets would assume in this particular game against Denver. And you've also got Sean Payton coming off that monster win over the defending Super Bowl champion, sort of always a letdown in situations like that in the NFL.
Big comeback.
What's that?
Big comeback win, 18 points in the fourth quarter.
On top of it, right. Now they're going to pack up and head over to have a cup of tea in England. But what Sean Payton doesn't do well in his career is play against winless teams. He can't get his football team focused. They always play down to the level of the opposition. And I say that because in his career, he's just 4-14 to the spread against winless teams. And if he's favored by more than 4 points in those games, he's 0-7 to the spread in this particular role against the Jets. Give me the Jets plus the points in this football game. They may even win their first game this season.
I'm with you on it. And again, 7.5 odds logic here. Live line 7.5 at DK. There's also again that you want to go opposite route. There's a 6.5 at ESPN bet too. So there's that ESPN bet. If you still got ESPN bet, you gotta be a giant loser because I need to get down on that. They knock people out of there in the weekend with their lines. 6.5.
To me, Sean, personally, on a sidebar note, it's sinful, absolutely sinful, that ESPN should have a legal sports book. I mean, they're the voice of sports in college football and the NFL, all sports, and they have a sports book. Come on, man, give me a break.
No, it's bad. Listen, it's bad enough that these channels, I mean, MLB.com's got it. All the networks, you got 6, 7, 8 people come on and give you picks at the end of the show, that people just run the do on, and they have their own sports betting. These are broadcasters. What are we doing?
They're not professional bettors. No way. Right.
Well, whatever. What are you going to do? Yeah, ESPN. How do they?
How they pull the wool over everybody's eyes in that? I don't have no idea.
It's bizarre. And then they get on and that's all. I mean, really. And then they get on and tell you like, oh, do this crazy. They give out crazy odd parlays that make zero sense. Then
So why do they give out crazy ass parlays? Because it's all in their advantage. The hole in those things is tremendous. And they just want to sucker the people in, making what they will purport to be. Oh, turn $10 into $2,000, but your chances of winning on that are probably 5,000 to 1. So they're just doing exotics and things like that just to appeal to the betting public.
We, Alex Smart and Doug Ups and myself, we're talking Thursday. We were talking about early line moves and getting early numbers and the best number and this and that. And it turned into like the books where I said, you know what? I don't even know if they care about some of these opening numbers or even closing numbers anymore, because that's not where they're getting their money. They're getting the younger generation, the new bettors, and all these people pouring in now. They're all parlay and prop people. They're not side and total people. So who cares if the Billy Walters gang comes in and hits them for a game? That's fine. We'll adjust it, but we're still making more money by all the other schmoes coming in doing all the other exotics.
All the gimmicks, right? Exactly right. And it's hard enough. It's hard enough, Sean, handicapping football as it is and winning a game, let alone having to win 3 times to cash 1 ticket on a stupid teaser. All the 3, 4, 5, 6 team parlays. They're all out there for one reason, and that's because the books want you to bet those. They're all gimmick bets, and they're all largely in their advantage. So, there needs to be a course somewhere along the way about educating the gambling public. And I'll tell you this quick little story. A good friend of mine, Craig Carton, pretty well known in New York. He was on WFAN. And
I met Craig Carton in person. I was at NJ 1015. Him and Ray Rossi were the Jersey guys.
Yep.
And I was in studio for their turducken eating contest.
Oh, nice.
I can find a photo. I got a photo somewhere.
Craig's a good friend of mine. His first broadcasting gig was in Cleveland, where I was from, and I would go on there, and I was kind of like his handicapper per se. And we became pretty good friends, and he got married, and my wife and I went to the wedding and everything. But the bottom line is this: he was hired, Carton was, by if not FanDuel, it was maybe it was FanDuel, to be their spokesperson, to be their leader. And they did it because Craig had just had his wrist slapped and he had to serve some time for doing some funny business betting, casino-wise and everything like that. And they wanted him to be the spokesperson to talk about the evils of sports gambling and doing the right things. So I had talked to him. I said, Craig, well, let's do this. Let's approach them and talk about an educational format where we can educate these people and give them a little bit of insight into what it is they're doing, so they don't get roasted and crisp and toast by the end of October. And he saw running up the flagpole. Well, the flagpole never got to get run up because their answer to him was, why would we want to educate our bettors who are going to lose their money anyway? That's the philosophy of these sports books. It just blows my mind.
I do got, you know what? We got comments. I'm like, why did I have no comments? And my comment window was shut here. Look at this. John Putnam's in the house. I apologize for not seeing the comments. I had the window shut. Dodgers winner. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. WNBA, Thomas. Come on, WNBA. Ray says Eagles will bounce back first round playoffs if they make it. Oh, they'll be bounced first round in the playoffs, right? I agree. Washington got 3 players. Who are we talking about here? I don't even know Washington. Oh, Washington for football. Washington football. I thought we were talking about that earlier about Rutgers. Exactly. Dodgers didn't win on the error. That was not it. I was talking about that game earlier. Yep. Here's a college game we talk about here. Virginia Tech and the points. Anything? You got anything on Virginia and Georgia Tech? Any thoughts? I would lean Georgia Tech. I like the way they're playing.
Well, they're playing some really good football, and I think you made a good point earlier about maybe them being passed over by a 3-loss power program, and that would be absolutely disgusting if it were to happen. And I'm sure that they talk about that in the locker room, just to go out there and win games as big as we can, just to make sure that nobody looks past us. Virginia woke up a little bit here. It's a tough game for me. I'd probably put a gun to my head. I'd probably lean Virginia plus, but I don't really want to jump in front of Georgia Tech at this time, like you don't either.
Yeah, I had Tech. I guess last week they were 5.5-point favorites against. They couldn't score a touchdown. They had 6 field goals in the second. I mean, like, what is that about? That's not a team I want to back. I mean, you're on a 13-yard line 5 times. You can kick 5 field goals and lose a game.
Yeah, come on.
Terrible. Mar says Pitt getting 10. They got Florida State. I'm not sold on that. And again, I had the over in that game, Mark. They score 48 points, and BC can't score anything other than a garbage touchdown and not get over. I say Florida State. I'm not sold on. Okay, you beat BC. BC lost to Cal the week before at home. I mean, how good is BC? I'm not saying Florida State is backity back, but I would rather lay than take it. Sometimes we do take a lot of dogs here. Not this spot. This is not enough dog I want.
You have to question the psyche of Florida State coming in here with a 6-turnover game, 2 straight 1-possession losses. That can kind of wear on you after a while. And they've never really been good laying big numbers, double digits. Florida State haven't. Give me 10.5. Give me that hook, and I'll play Pitt in this football game. If I don't see it, I'll move on.
See, I got to separate the two. Because the Virginia game was a tough loss. Miami had them. I mean, they battled back in that game. That to me, that's Cristobal just being Cristobal and being a bad coach. You know, that game shouldn't have been close. That should have just been Miami putting points on the board and pulling away and making it, 43-20 and not being a close game. That's Cristobal being a garbage coach. So
exactly. I'm you don't have to convince me. I'm taking a front seat, riding the front seat on that band Mario Cristobal wagon here. I think he just he just goes along for the ride, per se, if you will. I don't think he really coaches the team up.
Oh my goodness, this guy. Yeah, Jets, the winless Jets. We like them. I will stay off. People can. We like them here. We're throwing the Jets out today plus 7.5, right? Let's talk about Dallas tonight. Cowboys, Carolina, 3-point fave. Why do I want to say I didn't play Dallas in the Jets? The same reason why I didn't play Dallas in the Bears. Although I did have the over in the Dallas Bears game, and again that one missed out by 2 points. I think I had an opener 46.5 or something. Went off at 57. It was Dallas 40 points, and then they can't score. I don't know. I thought last week the Dallas game was going to look like the Bears game. Why do I feel like I could see this one turning into the Bears game with Carolina winning here? Like I like the over, but I could see this is just a game Dallas has peed away in the past and turned into something it shouldn't be.
Well, they've never had problems, Dallas, playing down to the level of opposition here. Now they're suddenly in that same level themselves, but they're favored here nonetheless. The thing that concerns me about Dallas, everybody wants to make them come like they're back. I don't think they're back anywhere close. But you take a look at their body of work. 3 of the last 4 games, they've coughed up season-high yardage. And if you want to give Carolina season-high yardage in this football game, that means they're going to put up 420 yards in the contest. If Carolina gets 420 yards in the contest, will you like their chances to win this game? I absolutely will. Yes, right.
Got to take, and again, 3.5 and 7.5 to me. Now they have to be the openers, Mark. They can't start at 3 and go to 3.5 or 8 down to 7.5. I like the faves in these spots, right? Because I think you see the hook and people just say, I'm going to take the hook, and I'll always take that hook and then play it out over the whole season. I look at it like, no way, man. That's 3.5 should be a 10-point win. 7.5 will be a 20-point win, and I'm on the faves here. But this wasn't a 3.5 opener. This was a flat 3, even a 2.5 at one point. I saw it here early in the week. So I'm with you on Carolina. The fact that we saw them, I don't know why the Falcons were favored over them, but I think Dallas, because Dak's a little better than Penix, I think we could all agree on. I like the over in this game, honestly.
Well, there's a little rule here, Sean, that may apply to Carolina. It's rinse and repeat. And really what it is you win straight up as a home underdog and you come home underdog the next game, repeat. These football teams really feel good about what they just did, and yet they're dressing up as an underdog again in the next game. And my question to you is, who are they dressing up as an underdog to? The Dallas Cowboys? Come on, man. The Dallas Cowboys.
Russell Wilson threw for 400 yards against him and got benched the next week. I mean, really, and that's their defense. And again, for me, like NFL, like back-to-back roadies, like anywhere, whether it's college, still tough spots. I don't care that they're flying first class and it's a 2-hour flight. You're still away and doing stuff. Home team, like you said, covering at home. New coach, new attitude. Young's kind of getting a little better as he goes along. I'm with you. We're taking Panthers plus 3.5 at home. What do you say?
I say let's take it. Yes, I think it's a nice little sneaky under the radar type play. Is what I really do.
There we go. Thomas, we'll ask you. Mark is Mr. Baseball. I'm sure he's got a huge play going tonight between the Tigers and the Mariners.
Well, it would have to be that game. That would be one and only for sure.
I mean, for me, Thomas, Scooble's great. The Mariners, boy, oh boy, you had a chance to make it to the ALCS, but you couldn't finish. You got to face this guy again. You're going to beat him twice in a series. I don't know.
What could work in Detroit's favor here, Sean? I'm not going to tout this game at all, but I like what they did in the first game of the playoff. This round here is they could have gone to Scooble as a starting pitcher in game 1 on short rest.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They did the right thing. They held him back, and now he's back in regular rest rotation here, which benefits them, I think, highly in a deciding game like this is today.
Listen, the guy's had a couple hiccups this year. The last 2 years, he's been fabulous. Oh. I don't care. Again, I'm pulling for the Mariners. I'm pulling for a Mariners Brewers World Series. I want to see that the dogs there. But am I pulling my money on the Mariners tonight? That ain't happening. No, I can't. I mean, Scooble's too. I mean, okay, they can win. Seattle can win 3-1, sure. For plus 103, that's not worth it. I'd rather do a Tiger run line here, Thomas. To be honest with you, if the Tigers lose, I'd rather do a run line, which is plus. Let's check it out. Plus 165.
Wow, nice.
If I'm going down with a plus 165 tonight. That's where I'd be at.
Well, that's nice. You got Scooble on the mound plus 165. Just let the offense do their deal, and sounds like a nice ticket to me. Yes.
Game of the week: UMass against State. Where do you got these guys ranked? Where are these in your power rank? They got to be in the 130s. They're at the bottom.
Well, they got to be last and a dead heat for last or last and second last. I'm going to guess the over/under on this game, Sean, is going to be like 112. That's the amount of people that are going to be in attendance at the game at Kent State in a football game like this. I mean, we kind of took a shot at the game in our newsletter here because what else can you do? How can you handicap either one of these two football teams that refuse to want to win a football contest? Call it what you want.
I want to take UMass in the points, and it's gone from 3 to – there's a 1.5 out there at Hard Rock. I mean, 2.5's everywhere else. It opened at 2.5. I mean, if you can find a 2.5, buy the half point to 3. And I don't ever say buy a point, but if you're going to be 3 points with two garbage teams, I guess I'd take it if I had to.
Well, when it's garbage to garbage, take the garbage. The you look at their numbers here inside of our statistical newsletter. Kent
I'm
State's
just hoping John.
what's that?
Go ahead.
I say Kent State's getting beat 243 yards a game. UMass or UMess, I guess we should call them. They're getting beat 209 yards a game. So good luck figuring out that garbage.
I'm hoping he just put this in here as a joke for this, because I'm sure he did. That's why I put game of the week between these two teams. We can have a nice little laugh at their expense. Back to some NFL here. Niners in the Bucks. Everybody's counting Niners out in this game. I got +3. I'm a sprinkle money line. 100%. I took the Niners +3 myself. Why wouldn't I? I got extra rest. I got time on the mend. I like Mac Jones. I think he's an NFL quarterback. I've seen him win games with Matt Patricia, a freaking punting coach, as his quarterback. He's not terrible. He's got an offensive coach. He's got CMC. Maybe a couple of these receivers come back. He's still got the tight end who he's fond of. And with Tampa Bay, listen, Baker's your guy. He's your guy. Cleveland's here. What is there to say? The guy's freaking phenomenal. I mean, it's like, we get down, we come back. He's taking Kansas City. We don't care. We'll win on the last possession to a whole new level.
Well, this is not Baker's best role, though. I'm going to tell you this.
But how many times can you pull that out? They pulled it every game has been like this year.
Every game has been the last drive. It's incredible. It's one-score games last drive, and I think what San Francisco has working for them on the sideline, which Tampa doesn't, is the better coach in this football contest. Shanahan knows how to win football games, and he's proven that with this roster that's a mash unit all football season long. And I mentioned Baker Mayfield. When he takes on anybody that comes in here off of a straight-up underdog win, he's just 9-15 to the number in his career. I like Shanahan. I like him in a role like this. I think this is a great spot for San Francisco to maybe bring Tampa Bay right back down to earth.
I'm with you. Niners. We're making it a show pick here. Niners +3. I'm going to put the show picks. I'll put them in the comments section shortly. I'm going to let Mark take over this next question. Iowa State back-to-back losses here. Where are they? Are they Colorado, Iowa State? Or is that – yes, right? That's who they got? I'm pretty sure that's who they're playing.
Iowa State comes in here. I've got them just off one loss to Cincinnati.
Well, he's asking if they're going to take back-to-back against Colorado.
Is he asking can they make this back-to-back losses and lose at Colorado? Is that the question? Yes. Possibly. I just don't think much of Colorado these days. I think this football program is headed for the exits, and all the signing indications are there. They're nothing even close to what they were when they had the Sanders boys there and the Heisman Trophy winner. They're not there, and that's a big step down from a football program from one year to the next. We're seeing that right now in Colorado, and the fact of the matter is, in Matt Campbell, you have a head coach that's terrific in his career coming off a loss. Which is what he's doing in this particular football game. I don't think Iowa State loses back-to-back games here at Colorado. I think they win and get the money here.
I'm in agreement with you there. Colorado quarterback situation, not great, And this was coming into the season. Deion had coached his son for 20 years, so you know what he had there. Now he's got to kind of do a little work. You're still only, year 3 into your program? Take some time to build some depth. You lose 2 NFL top picks. And again, Sanders, they thought was a top 5 pick. He's still an NFL quarterback, got drafted. Colorado can't replace that. They had other issues, right? I mean, this was not a good team last year. It was an okay team. A lot of hype. A lot of hype around it. But, I do not think they're taking back-to-back losses here. I'm just adding the picks here. And then we'll get back to the comments. Rutgers. I'll re-say them at the end of the show, but I'm just throwing them in the chat as well for everybody to enjoy. Yeah, why not? Well, you were chatting, so I said, let me load these up.
That
took a little while. I didn't realize we had that many games, but we did. Back to the NFL. Vegas, Tennessee thoughts. Raiders need it. Geno needs a wake-up call. Get his eyes checked. I like the Titans here. I mean, it's easy to take the Vegas. Did I play this game? Heck no. If I'm looking to play anything, maybe some Genti props since he's their go-to player. Again, that'd be a guy I look at his over rushing receiving yards because he just gets the bulk of everything for Vegas. But Carroll's got problems. They got problems out there in Vegas. I don't know what the solution is. Do not know.
Well, it's tough for me. Brian Callahan, I think he's not long for the National Football League. I think he'll be gone after this year. They're crying for his head right now in Nashville. He's only 4-18 since he's taken over that program, and that also came with Cam Ward. He hasn't really boosted that number any at all. Nope. But what I don't like here is if you look inside Vegas, a little bit of a sneaky number in here that I don't think people realize. Their defense is not bad. They've held 3 teams to season low yards, and I think it very easily hold Tennessee to a season low yard. They're not much offensively. This is probably the rare spot where I think Vegas could come up shooting big in a football game like this. I don't like laying points with Vegas, but I'm going to still avoid this Tennessee Titan football team. I think there's problems going on there, and I won't even be at all surprised if Callahan's gone by the end of the year.
Well, I mean, at this rate, let's give them, give them 1 win on the season, 2.
Tennessee.
We'll call him 2, so we could say he's 6-26 or whatever he is in 2 years. Or I mean, he's been terrible.
He got thrown in the fire too early, Sean. His dad was an offensive line coach, brilliant coach with the Browns, but just because he was. Yeah.
You draft Levis, you're a bad team, and this is what I say about these teams. You draft a quarterback into a bad team with a new head coach or a second-year head coach. The defense is spotty, which is why you're in this position anyway to draft a top 5 player and be like, this is our franchise quarterback. Or the kid is walking into a disaster.
Well, it's not any better there right now, Sean. I mean, they haven't won the yards in any game they played so far this year, Tennessee. And I don't know why it's going to get any better here this particular week.
Why wouldn't look at the team? I mean, who's the running backs? Pollard? No, Pollard's in Carolina now, isn't he? I don't even know who are the running backs. Spears? Who? I got to dig up who's on their depth charts. I know they got one. I know they got one. I think they got Calvin Ridley. I think they have one old school kind of player on their depth chart.
Yeah, who's a cast off and really.
Tony Pollard is a running back. Calvin Ridley, Shamir Dyke, Alec Ayamor. Who the hell are these guys? Tyler Lockett. I mean, Tyler Lockett's not even a starter on this team.
Well, they're the guys that have attributed to this horrible 1-4 start this football season.
But who put them there? The head coach didn't put them there. Cam Ward didn't put them there. Who's the GM? Who's calling them? Who's drafting these guys?
Well, it goes back, like you say, to Levis when they drafted him. He fell so far in the draft, we were wondering whether he was even going to get drafted. I felt sorry for the kid. He was in the green room on day 1 thinking he was going to be a first-round pick. And I think for all intents and purposes, he's done his career. So, that was obviously a bad choice. They're hoping Cam Ward is not the same bad choice. I don't think he is. I think he's a much better quarterback. But I don't think he has a lot to work with here, Sean. And I think it's going to be a while before he does. I
mean, Van Jefferson. I mean, I look at this roster. I don't even know who these guys are. Besides the fact I can't pronounce half their names. I don't even know. Who are these guys? Will Levis.
That's what they're saying the same thing.
And that's another thing, Will Levis. Him and who's the running back from Kentucky? Who went to who's that? Harris? Who got drafted? The running back for that team on Kentucky? Like, oh, look at this. I thought the Steelers took the running back from Kentucky.
You talking this year?
No, when Kentucky was
good.
Levis got drafted.
Yeah, when they were good, yeah. Or competitive anyway.
But they're so good that Kentucky was like a 4-win team. But yet they're going to draft these guys.
Well, there's one thing that is a little bit I thought was concerning when Jared Goff was a quarterback of California. They had a losing record, And, you know, he went out first player of the draft, and I was like, well, my goodness, what's going on? This kid can't even win in California. But they saw the skills, and he's really, really developed into a real nice quarterback in the National Football League. You take quarterbacks that shouldn't be there and try to make them something just because you have physical size and stature. That's where everything start to come apart at the seams.
I'm trying to remember their running back from that year. Anyway, whatever. We'll move on. We'll move on to there. Can Indy keep rolling over Arizona? I think so. Arizona, this team, you know, talk about just being I hate saying like a loser franchise. The way that game goes down, they find the coach because he gets into it with the player for dropping the damn football at the goal line. Yeah, let's find the coach. That's a great look.
Yeah, that was the coach's fault. Yeah.
If I'm the coach, I'm cutting that guy and be like, you know what? That's fine. I quit. I think another team would pick him up just based on that. Like, how does the people above him find him for that?
Well, I had said, I think I made this comment. Maybe it was in our coffee club that if I was a coach and I had a player on my team that done what they've done the past 2 weeks, what we've seen is lose the football before you cross the goal line. Adios, amigo. Here comes the pink slip. You're gone. These players.
I think we said this last Friday before he even did it, because we were talking about Mitchell dropping the ball the week before. That how does the coach not play that and be like, if any of you morons do this, I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's CeeDee Lamb, you know, whatever team, insert any team star player, and just say, I'm cutting you, and they can just take my salary. I don't care. You know, like, I'll leave. That should not happen.
Well, that should be the answer right there, Sean. If you do that, we're taking your salary. You will not get paid for that game. You cost us a win, is what he did.
And then on top of it, then like the interception to the fumble to the, again, this goes back to the San Fran loss. They nearly lost to the Saints. They nearly lost to the Panthers. This is a franchise. Again, people like this head coach. I don't know why. And I fell for it. I was like, you know what? Maybe Murray and them, maybe he takes a step forward this year, right? On the hot seat a little bit. He's got to do something. You thought maybe, what's his name? Well, they lost the running back. Connor got hurt. But between him and the tight end was pretty solid. The wide receiver, what's his name? Marvin Harrison's sons. Nothing. No, I can't. Do I want to lay 7.5 here as this line keeps going with the Colts? Not really, but the Colts are winning. One team knows how to win, and the other team knows how to lose. Put it together, and this is a 40-20 win.
You also have that aspect of the game is, you know, the quick handicap, the Cliff Notes handicap is who's the better quarterback here. You know, is it Kyler Murray, who's forever finding ways to lose games and get hurt, or is it now Indiana Jones, who's really made his mark and is going to obviously right now at this point be comeback player of the year in the NFL. I can only cast a vote for Jones in this football game, and I think Arizona's psyche has to be completely bottomed out going into this game.
Right. That's a Chip Trim special beginning of the year. Chip says Daniel Jones comeback player of the year. He was all over it. Florida versus A&M. Got 8.5, sprinkled some money line there. I can get behind some Florida.
I could do Florida here this week too. You know, you talk about needing a game like blood. It's the Florida Gators. You know, they're coming off an upset dog win, which is really a good role that they've always been in the past before. You also take a look at from our newsletter. We said that Texas A&M is 5-0 in the stats. They're running them $1.78 a game, but they're also a 5-0 fat cat favorite. 5-0 start to the football season here. No good. That's a fade coming in here. But here's the clincher to me, Sean. Southeast Conference dogs and what they've done so far this year. When any Southeast Conference dog is coming off a win and cover the last game, 4-0 to the spread when they're Southeast Conference dogs. That's Florida in this football game, and I think Florida's going to come with everything they've got.
Listen, it's 7.5. Do you want to add it to the show?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Florida plus 7.5. Again, I put a bunch in the chat already. I'm just going to recap them and speak them out at the end of the show, which is going to be in about 2 minutes here. John agrees. We would have cut that guy for dropping the ball, 100%. Don Dixon was looking at the playoff game tonight, and I know that School has been fantastic with his School. I like that School. It comes out School in the you speak it to text. Aware that the team has only won one of his last 5 starts. Yeah, but that's also because the team, out of his one of the last 5, as a team, they probably won 2 of those 27. They were just terrible. And that is the problem, is why they're a road team here in a Game 5 instead of being home, because they just went on a epic collapse, and that's how they lost their division, Don. But I can't – that is out the window in a one-off playoff game. Like, I know Mark's not really have a lot to say on the MLB side of things here. I'm a big MLB bettor. Yeah, that happens. But what has happened since then? They got their redemption over Cleveland, who leapfrogged them, beat them at the end of the year to win the division. They took care of them. They lost with Skubal in Game 2. Even he pitched fine. He gave 2 solo home runs to the same guy. How you can't get mad at the guy who's going to come in here and go 7+. What's he doing tonight, Don? He's going to go 7+, strike out 11 guys, give up 3 hits, maybe a run.
Maybe, right?
Can they lose the game 3-1? They could. They have. I said earlier, if I'm doing Tigers today, I'm taking Skubal run line plus 165 because they have to score runs for him to win. So why am I going to lay 105 or take 105 with a team? To me, that's ridiculous. If Detroit hits the ball, Skubal wins, and 165 is in your pocket. If they can't hit and they lose 3-1, it's a loser anyway.
Yeah, it would have been, exactly.
That's why the line is coming down to what it is, exactly why you said. Detroit has not played well for 2 months. And I don't like to say, well, now they're due to play good. Nobody's due. You're due. Yeah. Hope in one hand with that due and then poop in the other. See which one fills up first. Do. There'll be a lot of doo-doos, not a lot of wins.
I hear you.
Let's wrap this up, Mark. In an hour, it's after 2 o'clock Eastern. I appreciate you popping by as always. So these are the games we covered today here. We'll start in the NFL. San Fran +3, Panthers +3.5, the New York Jets +7.5. I'm going to tell you to go back to a video that we did for Detroit and Kansas City for a side and total in that game. So there's the cliffhanger of the show. You got to go back and watch another video if you want the Sunday night game. It's a standalone video. Go watch it. It's not too long. College football picks here for today from me and Mark. Arizona +115, Florida +7.5, Rutgers +11.5, Texas +1, under 45.5. There you go. I will send a spoiler out that we did a Texas game before. We also took Texas there, but we did that at -115 because at that point they were favored and under 43.5. So now we're locked on the 4 sides here with Texas. That's going to be graded as 4 games because there are 4 different lines. So there is that. And there is a Indiana-Oregon game posted. You got to go watch that video for 3 more free picks. So go watch the Indiana-Oregon video and watch the Kansas City-Detroit video for 2 more free pick winners there. I think that covers it. Mark, what do you got on tap for Saturday and Sunday on the site here?
I'm doing a once-a-year college football revenge game of the year, and this has got revenge reeking all over it. It's another live dog that I have winning the whole game straight up. It's up right now on the Gamblers World site, along with all of my plays, college and pro football this weekend.
Head to gamblersworld.net. A good day for a 3-pack, or a 3-day pass for Mark here. Guaranteed show you profit or credit back Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Or you want the doubleheader on Monday. Get Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Or let's be honest, the smart money move would be the 30-day package for Mark or any of the handicappers, including myself. All sports included, college, NFL football. There is hockey. There's baseball playoffs. NBA's right around the corner. Get the 30-day all-inclusive. Guaranteed to show you profit, folks. And there you have it, gamblersworld.net. Go check it out. Support the channel. Support the show. That'll be it for today, Mark. Good seeing you.
Likewise, Sean. Let's hope the ball bounces our way this weekend. I'm going to wish you nothing but the best of luck as well.
Have a good one.
You too, Sean. Be good.